And welcome back to the Engage 8 podcast, here hosted by Noah Drury. Not with any co-host today, going to be talking about the Week 13 action. Sorry I was MIA for a little bit. Had some sickness going on the past week or so, and a little bit unmotivated to do anything, but now that I'm feeling a lot better, we're going to be back and here talking about Week 13. Can give a little bit of breakdown on the past college football top 25 rankings. I'll just give my brief opinion, mainly on spots that I disagree. We'll go 1 through 5 real quick. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, LSU. I believe after USC picked up a big win against UCLA in a freaking thriller in Pasadena, I think they should be above LSU, who, honestly, I mean, their best win looks worse in Tennessee, or if you consider Bama their best win. Either or, but I think USC should be ranked above them. USC has just one very close loss to Utah. I know USC plays really close to their opponents in the Pac-12, but I mean, look at 2 weeks ago when LSU played Arkansas. That game was also close as well, and I don't think a win over a UAB team, who's not bad by any means, makes it better for LSU to be above USC. Speaking of 6 through 10, we got USC, Alabama, Clemson, Oregon, Tennessee. Nothing much here. Oregon got a good win against Utah in that game after having a bounce back from Washington. Tennessee got absolutely embarrassed by South Carolina, but they still got a win over Bama, so they're going to stay up there. I don't know about Alabama, considering that Ole Miss just lost last night in the Egg Bowl versus Mississippi State. So their best win is what? Texas now? And Texas, if they lose to Baylor, which is more than possible, they could have no top 25 wins, and hopefully they just don't make the college football playoff and ruin everyone's lives. 11 through 15, we got Penn State, Kansas State, Washington, Utah, and Notre Dame. Not much to say here. I kind of agree with everything here. No team really catches my eye. 16 through 20, we got Florida State, North Carolina, UCLA, Tulane, Ole Miss. Maybe put North Carolina or UCLA above Florida State, but nothing also to disagree with here too much. Ole Miss will drop after this, after losing to Mississippi State. I don't know about drop out of the top 25 completely, but they will be relatively close to it. And then 21 through 25, we got Oregon State, UCF, Texas, Cincinnati, and Louisville. And these teams are just here because they've lost to good teams, and they've just got a good record, and they're kind of just there. All right. Sorry about the coughing. Might have that in a minute or two. If you should hear me randomly cut out, it's because I got a cough. Time to get into this week's slate of games. I'm just going to do a quick rundown. We got at noon today, which it is in about 30 minutes, we got Tulane, Cincinnati. Got Ben Bryant, got Spears on Tulane. Couple big players here. Going to be fighting to play UCF for the American Championship. And I mean, I assume this to be a really good game. I'll be watching this here in 30 minutes or so. Maybe watch a little bit towards the end of the first quarter, depending on when this episode ends. Ben Bryant, he's been all right this year. I like Tulane. I like their versatile attacks with like 6 receivers having 20 receptions. Not much to say here. Not too big on group of 5 opponents, but especially because none of these teams are going to make the college football playoff. But, they're battling for the New York 6 bid for their group of 5 teams, so it'll be very interesting. Baylor and Texas. Shapen, this whole Baylor team, I was really impressed how they played against TCU last week. I know they ended up coming out with a loss, but that was a last-second field goal. And Texas, I mean, they ended up blowing out Kansas last week. Bijan Robinson looked amazing. Quinn Ewers is okay this year. We'll see how it goes with these teams. See where they're going to line up in the Big 12. I think the win. I don't know who this. I know TCU clinched one of the Big 12 spots. I don't know who is. I guess we could look at that at the end of the show. Who's going to be in what conference championship and whatnot. Any other games at noon today? Nope. At 3:30 today, we got NC State and North Carolina. NC State's going to be playing with their fourth-string quarterback from what I've been hearing from sources. I expect this game to go in North Carolina's favor a ton. Drake May, even though his Heisman is not as hopeful because they took the loss to Georgia Tech, I still expect this team to dominate. Maybe Drake May will be up there for the Davey O'Brien or Maxwell, one of those awards. So he'll still get some votes, hopefully, but we'll just see how it goes. I mean, I really like Drake May. I really like Josh Downs. I like both the Greens on the team. I know they've had a lot of defensive injuries. Not that North Carolina's defense is anything crazy, but it still matters when you don't have your starters in there. So I still expect UNC to take this game away and beat the Wolfpack. 4 o'clock. Here we got Iowa versus Nebraska. Iowa battling for that top spot in the Big Ten West to play the winner of Ohio State and Michigan, which will be happening at noon tomorrow on Saturday. So yeah, Iowa definitely not a popular style of football. Play field position, don't really need to score too much, rely on your defense. Nebraska, I have no idea if Casey Thompson's playing or not. I don't know too much what's going on there anymore. Kind of just out of my wheelhouse. I don't really care about the Big Ten West because the winner of it is probably going to lose to Michigan or Ohio State by 50. UCLA is going to try to get a bounce back win versus Cal. Zach Charbonnet is still an awesome running back. I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Jack Plummer, he's going to try to look good against this UCLA team. Game's being played at Cal Berkeley, so we'll see how that goes. 7:30 tonight, we got Florida and Florida State, a little rivalry game. Florida is still trying to remain, they're bowl eligible, so I don't know how much this game means to them. Maybe they try to boost up Anthony Richardson's stock a little bit. They also got ETNA, who's a pretty good running back. And then you got Jordan Travis, who I've been pretty impressed with this year. All year, I thought he's looked pretty good. I know Florida State had that one rough stretch at the beginning of ACC play, but they're rounding out the year really strong. So we'll see how it goes. Norvell's been looking like he's taken this Florida State team back to what they used to be with Jimbo Fisher, maybe a little bit. Maybe not as prestigious, but be a top team in the ACC, hopefully. I guess we'll start out with the Spartans. Not that the average fan is going to care, but I care because, big Michigan State fan. We took an 11-point loss last night, but we're without Jaden Akins and Malik Hall, a little bit basketball. Brandon Miller is really good for that Bama squad. So who do we actually – I'll talk about Michigan State basketball in a second. Penn State, pretty good team. Sean Clifford, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Parker Washington. They also got Joey Porter on the defense. Michigan State, they just had 7 players arrested or on felony charges and everything. So we'll see how this team does. Peyton Thorne, Keon Coleman, Jaden Reed. Just maybe their last football game played together for a lot of them. Hopefully we can become bowl eligible, but we'll see. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech trying to become bowl eligible, but probably not going to happen. They did beat North Carolina last week, but Georgia's a way different monster than North Carolina. All right, here we go. The game that everyone's talking about. As you can see, tickets as low as $382. I don't know. I saw some stuff from Michigan fans that Blake Corum is going to be back for this game. Is Donovan Edwards? I don't know. I don't know who's going to be back for the Ohio State running back room, whether it's Trevion, which he went down in their game last week versus Maryland, or Mayan Williams. I don't know what his situation is. Dallas Hayden, the third-string running back, he ended up playing good in that game, especially in the second half anyways. But my thing is I don't know how much I trust Ohio State and CJ Stroud in a big game. If you've looked at him, even last week, for example, I don't know how much he did really to lead that team to a win, or in a game against Penn State. He threw some decent balls, but a lot of it's just Marvin Harrison Jr. Even just last week, he's just not throwing the ball out of bounds when he should, taking very dumb shots downfield, not the most accurate quarterback either. It's really tough to watch him play, knowing that he's probably going to be if Ohio State wins this game, he's going to be the Heisman probably. It's just tough. Like, I don't know, Michigan, like the way they play football, man. I know they had a really close game versus Illinois, but your kind of game plan didn't go to plan because you didn't know Blake Corum was going to get hurt, and they still edge out a win there. I think this game's going to be under 55.5. So I see this game being kind of grindy, kind of gritty. I don't think any team's going to really score over 40 points max. Like, I think the most someone scores is anywhere from 31 to 35. Ohio State defense has been all right this year. Timoleu has been really good. Eichenberg. You also got the defensive back room with Burke and stuff. So, and then, I mean, Michigan, they've just been... I don't know if Schoonmaker's back for this game or not. I don't know too much about the Michigan IR room or anything. So I just know this is going to be a good game. This is going to be a big one for J.J. McCarthy because he's probably going to have to step up at some point in this game, hopefully. And we'll see if that number one dual threat quarterback from IMG is either going to be actually good or is it just going to be another Shea Patterson? We shall see. South Carolina versus Clemson. This game actually looks a lot more intriguing after what Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks did versus Tennessee last week. This game is in Death Valley, though. Shipley, I'm assuming Oogie Ugly is going to be the one that starts. I don't know. I don't know how this game's going to go. South Carolina, I've kind of like had a negative opinion on them all year, and then all of a sudden they just pull shit out of their ass and do amazing versus the Volunteers. So I don't have much to say. Will Shipley's probably gonna have a good game, and that Clemson defense is also way better than the Volunteers defense. I don't need to talk about that game or that game. No, Coastal versus James Madison is going to be a pretty interesting game. Don't know too much about either team, but I just kind of wanted to put a little bit of spotlight on it. Coastal didn't have a game last week either because of what happened with the Virginia football team. Rest in peace to the 3 players that did unfortunately pass away. Not much else to say there, just sad news last couple weeks there in Virginia. I don't believe they have a game this weekend either. Louisville versus Kentucky. Could be an interesting game. I don't know if Louisville still got Malik Cunningham or not. Rodriguez, Levis, are they going to do okay? You know, Kentucky, they could finish out the year strong, or Louisville could continue to be ranked and be 8-4. And you know, they after that first game versus Syracuse, I thought this Louisville team was shot, just done. But they're still playing football, man. Still doing good. Auburn versus Alabama. Auburn's the team that Lane Kiffin's projected to go to, even though he's denied any accusations of that. Bryce Young's still a good quarterback. They got McLennan. Demir Gibbs did not play in their last game. I don't know if he's going to be there this week or not. You got Ja'Cory Brooks. You got Jermaine Burton. I mean, this Bama team's still good. They still got a chance technically to go to the college football playoff. Very unlikely considering that this win would mean nothing, and a lot of other teams are going to be in conference championships and kind of playing tough games this week, so we'll see how it goes. Oregon versus Oregon State, that game's going to be good. Bo Nix, Franklin, Winnington, Irving. Like, there's a lot of playmakers on that Oregon team that I really like. Can finish out the year strong and then go to a good New Year's Six Bowl hopefully, and win the Pac-12 championship. Most likely not going to make the college football playoff, sadly. I really wanted to. The only team that could is USC, so let's see how that goes. Big Ten West action no one cares about. Iowa State versus TCU. Iowa State's probably going to cause some havoc in this game. Even though they're the bottom of the Big 12, they're still a good football team, man. Like, Xavier Hutchinson's amazing. Decker's, I don't have much to say about him. But like Kendrick Miller, Max Duggan, Quentin Johnson, Tay Barber, like I like this TCU team. They need to stay undefeated. I want to see them in the college football playoff, whether they're fraudulent or not. Who knows? But they're a great, awesome story. You know, first-year head coach, taking these guys to, you know what? No one thought at the beginning of the year was going to happen. No one thought this TCU team. TCU was nowhere near my radar, especially because Zach Evans transferred out too. So, I mean, it's just going to be interesting. Yeah, go Horned Frogs. LSU versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M is going to have the transfer portal flu, and a lot of players are probably going to sit out. Could be a good game, though, in College Station tomorrow. LSU trying to look good. They got this game, and then they got the SEC championship next week. Jaden Daniels, Neighbors, all these guys, Bude. You know, they gotta perform. They gotta step up. They gotta get style points at this point. UCF, South Florida. Who cares? Notre Dame, USC, big anticipated matchup. Caleb Williams also trying to fight for that Heisman. Travis Dye is out for the rest of the year, but they got Addison. I don't know if Mario Williams is going to be here for this team or not, but they got a ton of other receivers at that USC receiver room. And then Notre Dame, they got a lockdown corner in Morrison. That kid just continues to impress me each time I watch this Notre Dame team. They also got like Pine and other guys too, Michael Mayer, but they're just going to keep it on the ground and try to control this game against USC. So, see how it goes. Tennessee, hopefully they don't get embarrassed by Vanderbilt, but it could happen. Watch out, Mike Wright. Kansas State and Kansas play. I know Jalen Daniels is back. We'll see how this game goes. Malik Knowles, Deuce Vaughn, Adrian Martinez, or Will Howard, whoever's the one taking snaps. I expect them to beat whoever is, however they play Kansas. And then the Apple Cup, we got Michael Penix versus Cameron Ward. Cameron Ward, someone I really like coming in to this year. He's been playing all right this year. Michael Penix, good quarterback. They also got Adunzi and other receivers. And, you know, it's going to be a good game out there in Washington. Should be close. Rivalry game, obviously. It's got to be close, right? All right, enough of that being said, kind of just like a little bit of a basic rundown of all the games that I'm probably going to have my attention on and what you should also have your attention on. We could talk about the game that happened last night, but I don't want to go into it. Basically, Ole Miss had 2 clutch fourth downs picked up, scored a touchdown at the end, failed the 2-point conversion, didn't get the onside kick, and Mississippi State walks away with the win. All right, let's look at the standings. We're going to kind of go conference by conference. So the American winner of this, okay, let's take a look at this. So UCF has Lens over Tulane and Cincinnati. So that's why this game's tough. So the winner of Cincinnati and Tulane plays UCF as long as they don't lose to, I believe it was South Florida, which South Florida is abysmal. Fired their head coach, lost 9 straight games. I don't think you have to worry about anything. So whatever this matchup happens in about 19 minutes, we'll see. We'll see who's the victor and who's not. Yeah, not much else to say there. American Athletic Conference looked good this year, so that's good to see. We already know what's happening here. Clemson versus North Carolina should be an all right game. Hopefully Drake May just looks good. And Clemson, I mean, they're still trying to fight for the college football playoff spot too. Got to get a good win versus South Carolina, and then win against North Carolina would definitely help. Big 12, kind of matters if Kansas State loses to Kansas and Texas ends up picking up a win because Texas has the head-to-head. You can either see TCU Texas or we'll see TCU Kansas State. So last time TCU played Kansas State, they had like 3 different quarterbacks come in. I think it'd be different this time. All right. Iowa, probably going to get it here unless they lose and Purdue wins because they played a while ago and Iowa ended up coming up with the win. Purdue plays Indiana this week, and Iowa, I believe, played, I mentioned it. Iowa plays Nebraska, I believe, today. So, interesting there. Who cares? The team that wins the Big 12 or the Big 10 West, sorry. It's probably going to get blown out by one of these two teams, whoever is the victor. As you can see, Michigan State, I don't know what the hell happened this year. So, Conference USA, it looks like it's going to be who out of these two in UTSA. UTSA still living off good on last year. So, we'll see how that goes. Don't really care too much. Independence, nobody cares. I'm actually going to be going to this game most likely next Saturday between Ohio and Toledo. It's at Ford Field. Cheap tickets. My football. I have no idea if Daquan Finn's going to be playing for the Toledo Rockets. I know Ohio's quarterback is out in Rook. So, but Ohio, 7-game win streak, man. They got taken that fire. And Toledo, they lost their last game. So, still got a game to play this weekend. But they're already in the championship. Yeah, they play Western. So, probably should be an easy win. Western's not very good this year. Yeah. Mountain West, we got probably Fresno State versus Boise State there. As long as Fresno State wins and stuff doesn't happen to San Diego State. Here, as long as both these teams win out, if they lose and Washington wins, Washington is in. Or is it Utah? Oh, it'd be a 3-way tie then, unless Utah loses to Colorado, which is not going to happen. So, I don't know. We'll see here. I think USC probably, hopefully, just wins out the Pac-12, and we get a little bit of conference diversity here in the Pac-12. We already know what's happened here. Georgia versus LSU. Give my thoughts when that time comes. Sun Belt, Coastal, probably. Oh, okay, so probably the winner of this game plays either Troy or South Alabama. Kind of good in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's a good conference. Like a team like Appalachian State, who did pretty decent this year, is 6-5. So it's a competitive conference, man. Marshall beat Notre Dame earlier this year. James Madison was ranked at one point. Like, pretty good, man. Yeah, that's about it. I don't got too much else to say. Kind of a short episode. Just kind of wanted to talk about it. Let everyone know. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Not much to say. Could look at, I want to see just on here while I'm on the ESPN website, what time does Michigan State play tonight? They play at 12 o'clock in the morning. Awesome. They play Oregon. So, yeah, and then Alabama plays UConn. UConn had an amazing game yesterday. Had like 17 3-pointers made, which is like a team record. All right. Yeah, that's about it. We'll have a way more in-depth recap. I mean, I watched all the games last week and everything, the last 2 weeks and everything, so don't think I've just fallen off the face of the earth. I've just been sick and haven't had the motivation to want to record an episode, but I thought today was a pretty good day. Be back on most likely Sunday or Monday. Actually, probably Monday. Monday's probably going to be the day where talk about everything. So thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your Black Friday and the rest of your weekend. Go Green!